You might want to know who the heck I am. For those that don't know, my name is Ben Fanelli. I grew up in Oakville, Ontario, not far from Toronto. I grew up with the classic journey of chasing the National Hockey League. Pretty cool tonight, we have someone speaking that actually made it to the NHL, which I did not. When I was 6 games into my Ontario Hockey League career at 16 years old, at a point where I thought I was living my dream, and I thought I was only 2 years away from playing in the NHL, I woke up in the hospital to news that I would never play sports again, I would never go to school again, and that my brain was bleeding in 3 different places. Now, for the sake of time today, I don't want to dwell on my story. I want to focus on, to be honest, the reason I'm standing up here today. After I left that hospital, I first was incredibly lucky to avoid brain surgery, and the 3 brain bleeds that I had, 2 subdural hematomas and an epidural hematoma, started to absorb on their own. I don't know why that happened. The doctors couldn't explain why that happened. I was incredibly blessed. What happened after that, the 2 years that I spent away from the game of hockey, I had an army of people at my back very similar to who's sitting in front of me today. Not only people full of knowledge and support with the resources I was lucky enough to have access to, but the love and support from people in the sporting world that did not treat me like a number, but instead treated me like a human. 2 years later, do not ask me how this happened, with my mom totally not on board with this idea, I returned to play competitive hockey. I spent 3 more years with the Kitchener Rangers. I was lucky enough to attend camp with the New York Rangers and incredibly lucky to win the Humanitarian of the Year award in my 4th year for doing work similar to what we're all doing here today. Honestly, just spreading knowledge and wisdom and love in this world, I don't know if there's a better mission you can have. And yes, that's very biased coming from me, but that's all I did, and it was recognized. I finished playing. You've probably heard this before. A competitive athlete finishes playing competitively, doesn't know what the heck they're going to do with their life. Lived that. I spent 2 years throwing spaghetti at the wall, figuring out what do I love, what do I want to do. And I found a lot of people reaching out to me for support with different life challenges, I think because of my story and my background. And I was starting to communicate with a lot of different individuals about different topics, and I thought maybe I should do this a little more professionally. So I went back to school to do my master's of counseling and psychotherapy, and today I feel like I don't even work. I'll be honest, every day is a journey. Every day I get to learn from all the clients that I'm lucky enough to work with, from 12 years old all the way up to retiring from professional sport. So I really do feel like a student every day, and very lucky to do what I do. I also am very lucky to be able to work with individuals that are experiencing concussion through sport. And I really only have 2 rules of thumb when I'm working with young athletes navigating head injury or concussion. Because we never know what is biological, what is social, what is psychological, it's hard to determine, from my perspective, what is right, what is wrong. It's very difficult. So I only have 2 rules of thumb: a plan and progress. I have seen those transform the headspace that these individuals are in. Some type of plan. It doesn't even have to be a plan that we know is going to work perfectly. It's something to work with. So a plan's number 1, which leads into number 2, progress. Some semblance of progress, of forward movement. Through my journey, when I thought change wasn't possible, and I had even just watched the concussion movie that just made me even more anxious and scared, thinking I'll never recover, I picked up a book that dove into plasticity and how the brain can change. And it wasn't even that was going to happen. It was just the idea that change was possible that alleviated a ton of my anxiety and was a big game changer for me.